Senate for failure to hold the President of the United States accountable for violating the laws and Constitution of the United States by allowing the invasion of the southern border of the United States.
I put this item on the agenda after the last, we say the last week or so of dealing with it, but this isn't the last week or so. We've been dealing with this in Del Rio for years, and it's progressively getting worse as we see it going up and down the border. And we see the inability of our people in Washington to understand that there's a problem and willing to do something about it. For the Congress and the Senate to fail to hold the president accountable to enforce the laws, and Secretary Mayorkas to not do what is right and put these communities in jeopardy. We know there's another group coming. We already know there's another group of 19 or 20,000 that's headed to Texas. Are they coming to Del Rio? I don't know. They're going to Mission. We don't know where they're headed, but they're headed to Texas. And this is going to happen all over again. This isn't the first time. This won't be the second or the third or the fourth time. But as we're dealing with this as American citizens, our Congress and Senate is sitting up there arguing with each other about whether to raise the debt ceiling to spend more money that we don't have because we can't pay our bills come October the 1st. And we continue to allow people into this country while our vets are homeless, our people in this country are hurting, and for the Congress and the Senate not to hold the president and the staff of the president accountable for enforcing the laws and doing what is right by the citizens of America is inexcusable. And I blame the Congress and the Senate because at the end of the day, they set the laws. They pass the laws. It's their obligation to uphold the laws. It's the president's job to enforce the laws, not to allow what we saw here in Del Rio. And thank the Lord that the state of Texas stepped up and sent what they sent, and thank the Lord for the Border Patrol agents that we have. But when we have people in Washington vilifying our law enforcement the way they did and trying to make heroes out of criminals is completely and utterly inexcusable. And it's a disgrace to this country. When you cross the border illegally, you cross the border illegally. Our law enforcement has a job to do, and they can't do it with their hands tied. They have to be able to do what is right. And what we saw in Del Rio and what was put this community at risk, we will see again, probably in the next few weeks, as this group gets to the Texas border. Wherever that may be, we will see this again. And then we have, I watch a news deal where we have a congresswoman in a press conference asking people to sponsor these people so that they can stay in America. That if they will call her office, she will get them in contact so they can sponsor them so these people won't be deported. When did we forget that we elect them to represent people in this country? And it is time that we stand up and do something about it, because it's very apparent they're not going to do anything about it in Washington. I put these two items on the agenda because I'm sick and tired of this. I've watched it and watched it and watched it. And the amount of money that it costs our community to deal with this issue. And we're still putting numbers together on what that might be. And for the state of Texas to set aside $3 billion to deal with border issues that are a federal problem. It's $3 billion we could have used to improve our schools. It's $3 billion we could have used to improve our highway infrastructure. But we're having to do the federal government's job while they sit in Washington, the Congress and the Senate, and argue with each other and get absolutely nothing accomplished. We've talked about immigration reform for as long as I can remember. And both parties have had control of Washington at one point or another over the last 20 years. And we have failed to do anything about it other than to create the mess that we have today. It is inexcusable. And it is time that we get together with other counties and cities along the border and stand up and do something. I don't have the answer to whether a lawsuit solves this problem, but it draws attention to this problem. They took the same oath of office that I did, which was to uphold the Constitution and the laws of the United States and the laws of the state of Texas. That was the oath that I took. They took the same oath. They need to comply with that oath and do their job and stop this mess that's going on. I am all for people coming to this country legally. That's what built this country. This is not a legal process. This is not the right way to do it. To put these communities, we had 50% of the population of this city was sitting underneath our international bridge. How is a town of this size with our tax base supposed to deal with that problem when it wasn't our problem to start with? It is a complete failure of everything that's going on in Washington for not just the last couple of years, but for many, many years. The Supreme Court upheld the Stay in Mexico deal. We ignored it, went on with our lives. We have no belief in the law anymore because nobody upholds the law. We just create our own. When we see the President of the United States ruling by executive order, while the Congress and the Senate sit on their butt and do nothing about it, it's no longer a democracy. That is a dictatorship. I watched people that have the legal right to come over here from Mexico, did everything right, have their visas, did all the paperwork, got their vaccine cards, did everything, and they're not allowed to come over here. But we allow 15 or 20,000 or however many it was to cross our border illegally with absolutely nothing and then spread them out all over this country while we argue about whether we're going to raise the debt ceiling and issue trillions of dollars more in debt so that we can fund ourselves. And it's not us that's going to pay for this. It's our children and grandchildren. And we're going to leave them a mess if we don't do something about this. Can Val Verde County take this on by itself? Probably not. But we need to build a coalition of other counties and cities that are having these same issues and make a stand. It's time to make a stand. It's time to stop what is going on. And we need to go down that road. I don't want to put this county in that position, but we don't have a choice because this is going to happen again somewhere else. And it has to end. When we do the things that I see in Washington and vilify our law enforcement and our Border Patrol agents the way they were vilified and crucify them before there's even an investigation, that is inexcusable. I think every single one of those agents that kept this community safe. Because without them, we would have a mess. And I don't know what the hell happened to this country. This is not the country I grew up in, and this is not the country I'm willing to leave my children.
Second the motion, Judge.
I haven't made one yet. It's sad. It really, really is. That we have representatives that we elect that could care less about American people. It is completely and utterly inexcusable that we have found ourselves in this mess. But right now, Del Rio, Texas, and Val Verde County are the center, and the whole entire world is watching us. And it is our chance to stand up and do something to make a statement and make a point that enough is enough. This needs to end. the President of the United States and the President of Mexico need to get together and come up with a solution. And I agree with the judge. Closing that bridge brought the attention that this needed. Because at the end of the day, the only thing anybody cares about in Washington is money. It's not about the American people. It's not about what's right and wrong anymore. It's about money. And that's what got everybody's attention. I think we need to build a coalition. I don't think this is something that Val Verde County can step off and do all by itself. So my motion would be to have the judge write letters to the counties and cities up and down the border and other counties around us to ask if they would join with us to move forward with litigation to force the President and the Congress and the Senate to once and for all resolve this, to fix immigration and to fix this problem. That's my motion.
I need a second.
Second.
Jesus, everybody. Told you we'll all go together. Motion, Commissioner Nettleton. Second, all three of the other commissioners. So we already know what the vote's going to be. Commissioner Wardlaw, do you vote for or against the motion? Commissioner Vasquez, for or against?
For.
Commissioner Nettleton.
For.
Commissioner Flores.
For.
The judge, 4, 5-0 vote. I guess y'all can see everything that we're going through. I mean, it's just difficult. And you just feel like you just keep beating your head against the wall and ain't nobody listening. We're going to go to item 20, I think, but we already took care of it. Make a motion. Discussion and possible action to file a lawsuit against President Joe Biden for failure to enforce the laws of the Constitution of the United States and failure to abide by his oath of office to uphold the laws and Constitution of the United States, and for failure to protect and defend the border of the United States by allowing an invasion of the southern border of the United States.
I will make a motion to allow the judge to add into his letter this provision to also file litigation against the President of the United States and build a coalition to do that.
Okay. We have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, seconded by all three commissioners. We'll take a vote again. Commissioner Wardlaw, for or against?
For.
Commissioner Vasquez?
For.
Commissioner Nettleton?
For.
Commissioner Flores?
For.
And the judge, 4. Again, 5-0 vote. Jesus Christ.
And I apologize for getting
Why?
sentimental, but
Yeah. I wouldn't apologize. I cry all the time. If y'all don't mind, let's take a little break.